I'm Lekha, and I'm from Boston. So a little bit about me. I'm a neuroscientist. So I did my master's in neuroscience from KCL, and I specialize in cognitive and behavioral neuroscience. Don't worry, I'm not here to read your minds. So I joined Boston about 11 months ago, and I joined as a neuromarketer and a data analyst. So I was also part of their R&D team. So I was working on biological and neuroscientific plausibilities and artificial neural networks. I'm not going to get into the jargon, but today I'm here to talk about AI. I'm here to talk about the story of AI. I'm here to talk about why there's so much buzz surrounding the AI, which I'm sure the other two presentations answered brilliantly. But I'm also here to talk about two other questions more importantly, which is what value does AI add to your life? And also, is AI going to replace us? That's one question that's, I think, bothering me, most of all people. But so I think all of us have firsthand witnessed how AI is transforming our world at an unprecedented pace. Now, things are changing, we are changing. But the story of AI is not just about intelligent machines, the rise of intelligent machines like we see in The Matrix or in any other science fiction movie. It's about transformation. It's about transformation of humanity itself. November 30th, 2022, ChatGPT comes out and takes the world by a storm. We have designers and entrepreneurs who are able to generate code for apps that they could only dream of before. We also have AI health algorithms that are able to detect the diseases with such staggering accuracy and with such incredible pace. From global health crisis to climate change, we're now able to potentiate solutions to some of the world's most pressing challenges. Now, if you recognize there's a pattern here, whatever this tech touches, it becomes more nimble, it becomes more efficient, and it becomes more intelligent. Now, it does this while accelerating its own self-development.
In this one. Sorry.
So if you look at the slide, in the last 6 months, actually, from ever since we've seen ChatGPT, every 6 months, we've seen a growth of 10x. Now, before the advent of AI, we sort of used to measure the technological advancements through the lens of Moore's law. Which said, Johan presented very well. Every 2 years, we see the transistors on a chip double. So to compare it and put it into perspective, it's like seeing 2x growth every 2 years versus 10x growth every 6 months. So now, as scary as that is, we've pretty much left Moore's law in the dust. We're at a level where we have to recognize that AI is not everything. In fact, this era comes with a unique human responsibility of how we act, how we adopt, and how we incorporate this technology into our lives. Now, one thing that is interesting about the finance sector is that you guys are not unfamiliar with this technology. In fact, back in 1989, Lekha came up with this seminal work on optimal character recognition. And by the end of 1990s, we were already using it. We were using it to process bank checks, and 20% of all bank checks globally were being processed using this artificial neural network. And this is also the story of Postpay with it. We're not unfamiliar with this technology. We've been in the industry for 30 plus years. We've been designing and deploying solutions in AI, HPC, quantum. You talk about it, we're in it. And we've been doing this across 5 different geographies in 9 different countries. We're in fact one of the first companies to install a GPU in a data rack. In the server rack. But today is not about us. It's about you. It's about what state-of-the-art hardware can we provide you, what software can we provide you, and in fact, any and all resources that we can provide you with in a digital landscape that is rapidly evolving. So now, working in this same sentiment, in partnership with NVIDIA, we've had WSD come up with a brilliant and a revolutionary product, which is Melody. And I'm sure all of you have witnessed with Matthias's presentation of how good it is. Now, but I'm here to tell you about what Gen AI is. Now, before I start about what Gen AI is, I want to give you a small story. So back in 1941, during the Spanish dictatorship in Spain, there was a lot of anti-fascists were labeled as rebels, and they were put in silos in prisons. And one such prison was the La Modelo prison. And right opposite this prison was this very tall building with a lot of balconies on it. Now, this duo, this lady and her 9-year-old daughter used to go to this building, pay the building owner so that they could go up to the balcony and get a glimpse of the father who was in the prison through the prison bars. Now, I'm telling you this because this is a real life story. It's the story of 93-year-old Carmen who got to relive one of her earliest memories of her father because generative AI was able to recreate that image. Paul Garcia and his team of brilliant scientists were able to come up with a revisualization of her and her mother looking through the balcony into the prison. Now, this is how powerful generative AI is. We're able to generate not just image, text, we're able to generate code, we're able to generate anything based on what the model has learned prior. Now, banking has used predictive or analytical AI for a really long time. And we've done this for trend forecasting or pattern recognition or million such use cases. But generative AI adds a whole new dimension. We're able to create your output from personalized customer interactions to new financial products. We're now able to engage with the customer in a whole new way, and the potential here is limitless. Now, since I'm from banking, since I'm from marketing, I will start with a marketing use case. Sorry. Which is dynamic content creation. What does it mean? So we've used predictive AI models to understand, say, the behavioral pattern of a certain target segment. So you want to understand the spend analysis of a certain age group. Predictive AI does that for you. But with generative AI, we're able to use the same input and generate 10, 20, 30 different outputs. And each specific output you can use to target a certain customer segment. Now, according to Kiran Bupu, who's if I'm not wrong, the chief product officer of Wells Fargo, he says this is game-changing embedded finance. Because with this, we have a brand new way of taking banking to the customer rather than waiting for the customer to come to the bank. Now, secondly, scenario simulation and strategic planning. Now, let me take you back to the 2008 financial crash. Economies collapsed, societies collapsed. It was a global banking crisis that a lot of people really did not see coming. And I'm not going to talk about the economic or the societal collapse, but there was a negative image, or rather a prejudice that was built around banks and bankers. Now, imagine if you were able to forecast this scenario. Forget forecasting. With generative AI, you're able to generate new novel situations, new stress tests, and you're able to expect the unexpected. Now, imagine you were able to do this. You will not only help institutions prepare for the worst, but you will have the key to actually dissolve all the negative images and the prejudices that a common man has about an industry that ultimately values customer trust. Which also brings me to my next point, explainability and transparency. Now, this is very self-explanatory. You're able to generate documents that are able to explain in a very simple language to a customer auditor or an employee. You have, say, someone who's got a loan, or someone who's been denied a loan. Now, with the help of Gen AI, you don't need to sit through the laborious task of explaining it to someone. You can generate an explanation saying, this is why your claim or your loan has been denied. Which again plays back to the same point that I was making about customer trust. Next, automation and document generation. I think Matthias did like an excellent presentation on how you can, sort of generate documents. Or in fact, for example, I'll give you the insurance industry. They were able to use Gen AI to create entire documents, including evidence summaries, next steps, decision-making factors, everything included. Now, my last use case is natural language interaction and understanding. Now, I don't need to explain this. I'm sure all of us have used ChatGPT. How human-like the interaction is. It's contextual and it's creative. And this basically means that we're able to engage with AI in complex conversations. It can understand us in the most nuanced questions and answer us in the most nuanced ways. Now, there's a bunch of other use cases, right? You can say credit expansion, you can talk about fraud detection, innovation in new financial products. But at the end of the day, we all recognize that AI is bringing about a revolution. And with anything that brings about such a revolution, brings about with it a sense of apprehension, a sense of ambiguity and uncertainty. Now, when we're uncertain about something, it's human psychology to fear it. What which we don't understand, we fear. And one such fear that plagues not just this industry globally, me in fact, is AI going to replace humans? Now, as simple as that question is, the answer to it is very multifaceted. Now, first we've got to recognize that banking as an industry has had multiple disruptive technologies. You can talk about the mainframe computer to ATMs to online banking. And every time there was a disruptive technology, there was a projection that bankers and banks are going to become obsolete. But here we are 25 years later with more banks and bankers than ever before. Now, I'm not saying there won't be disruptions. There will be disruptions. And in fact, there will be a lot of disruptions. But we've got to recognize that there's signals towards a very positive movement. First of all, algorithms need data, and data needs humans. So it's a myth that that humans are ever going to be replaceable. And secondly, the World Economic Forum projected that by the end of 2025, there would be 97 million new jobs that are going to be created, and we are already seeing this in motion. We have this, for example, the Singaporean Prime Minister who recently announced that there would be a $1 billion funding just for reskilling programs in terms of AI. Now, what does it mean? This means that we're creating a dynamic workforce. We're creating a workforce of different age cohorts. We're mixing the invaluable experiences of the older generation with the fearless embracement of technology by the young. And at this crossroads, I think we shouldn't be asking the question, is AI going to replace us? We should be asking, how is AI going to augment our lives? How is AI going to better our human experiences? It's about AI and humans working together to build a better and a more equitable world. Thank you.
Thank you.